And welcome, boys and girls, to Jammin with Jay. I'm your host, Jay, and with me today is a call legend, a YouTube legend, and a rap legend. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as Monoxide, M Accuracy, The Patriot, and a bunch of other characters I forgot about. But I know him as thank you, Steven Metagu Mido Steven Mido Metascoby.
Close enough, but that there is a correction. There is no proof that myself and the Patriot are the same exact person. So,
I apologize. But you two are close, so maybe you could, you know, answer some stuff for him.
I guess I still am under the insinuation Sean is the Patriot. So he's
Sean,
skinny enough. So
Sean's the Patriot. Sean's the one to see away. Sean's a lot of things. Uh,
Sean is a lot of things. He's the next Briscoe brother.
oh, he's gonna love that. He's gonna love that.
Am I wrong?
Sean Briscoe. He's
Yeah,
just
Sean, Jay, and Mark.
he's just chewing tobacco in all his promos.
Yeah, he's the one that actually is relaxed, whereas the other two are just loud and abrasive.
Wait,
So,
are you saying that Jay Briscoe is not relaxed? Jay Briscoe's a very calm man.
I mean, yeah, calm for somebody that just had Monster and Red Bull all at the same time.
Monster, Red Bull, Moonshine, all that wonderful stuff. All right, so I know of you since I want to say 2008, but we didn't start
Damn.
talking till like maybe 4 years ago, probably. I could be wrong, because
Wow.
believe it or not, I was a fan of your YouTube channel. I was a fan of Monoxide, one, two, three, and a bunch of other fucking numbers. Uh,
I'm so sorry you were a fan of that guy.
oh no, we're gonna talk about this because yeah. Now, like I said, you're a rap legend.
I'm a rap legend. Okay.
Yes, yes. Believe it or not, Monoxide was part of probably the biggest hip hop duo of all time. Outkast, get out of here. UGK, get out of here.
That's right.
The Trench Coat Mafia was hands down the best rap duo of all time.
God, the fact that you brought that up and I couldn't even remember the fucking rap group you were talking about until you said it.
yes, I know you for a long time.
Oh my God, you don't just know me, like you know every detail. I'm afraid to know if you know my address.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm pretty sure it's someone knocked on my door, but right now I'm recording, so please don't bother me. Uh,
Oh my God, it sounded like somebody was at my window.
uh, Alright, so yeah, you were part of a rap duo with Mr. Sarcastic Venom. What was that
Uh,
like?
oh boy. So let me give you a small description of Sarcastic Venom. He's a good friend of mine. We're still friends to this day. We still do projects, but the guy is, let's just say, like he lets his emotions get the best of him. So whenever he
We'll get to
feels
that. We'll
like
get to
something,
that.
oh yeah. But anyways, it was a way to let him know how to do this shit because I had actually was doing some songs in 2005, if you could believe that, and obviously, if you see some of Patriot's stuff in COH where he's actually like singing or rapping, it's like that's obviously from my experience from back then, or lack thereof. But yes, we had that, and what did it last, like 2 weeks?
You can say that. Now, you had a gimmick to it. A gimmick to the Trench Coat Mafia. Can you
Oh,
explain what it was?
all right. Let me break it down to you, ladies and gentlemen. The person you know now is not the same person that Jay's referring to 10 years ago. The person 10 years ago was one of those emo depressed fucks who just hated the world as we know it. And this emo depressed fuck loved and like just was interested in the whole Columbine mass murder massacre, whatever you want to call it. And Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, had a group called the Trenchcoat Mafia. That was their signature to try and beat up.
They're stable and call.
That was a stable too. Yeah, didn't Dr. Pizza have them in his colleague or whatever? But yeah, That's the point. It was just me being that aggressive, like in your face, like fuck you, this, that, and the other. And then I grew up.
Edge Lord.
An edge lord, somebody who has experted himself on World of Warcraft too much, and Doom, and loves Marilyn Manson.
Now, like I said, like I've been a fan for like now. Keep in mind, this is like 12 years ago, by the way. Like, this is like a long, like a decade ago. So it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And and you were the first person to show me that you have YouTube beef, because you did beef with someone in the early days, and we're gonna go way back. I'm gonna bring up a name that you probably haven't heard in like 10 years. James Eden.
Oh. Oh yeah, he
need to know right now. Because, like I said, I was there. I was on your side. I was trolling James Eden. I need to know how it started.
So, if I remember correctly, well, first off, his name was Yeesus, not Yeezy. Yeesus. This guy was feuding with Rob, Sarcastic Venom, and all of a sudden he just, for whatever reason, took a jab at me. And okay. Remember what I said earlier? I was the in-your-face rebellious fuck. If this would have happened today, I just probably would have brushed it off and been like, whatever. I don't know him. But no, back then I had to have that as a reason to go ahead and terrorize this person. So I guess I'll fill in the blanks. So this guy started a YouTube channel, and what's great is when he started, he had like this epic intro. He had the cowboy hat, he had the sunglasses, he had the rock music. And he had his own thing, Welcome to the Garden of Eden. And we just decided that we were just going to pester him and troll him to no end. We got this guy to admit to Rob that James Eden has a small dick. We got this guy to admit that he wanted to fuck Rob. You got to remember, this is back in the days where homosexuality was always goofed on. We got him to cry on camera. We got him, I don't know if this is true or not, we got him to and his girlfriend to break up with each other. I mean, now it sounds foolish, it sounds stupid, but it was 2008, and again, I gave no fucks whatsoever at that time. I felt at the time...
Continue, go.
I'm just saying, the guy, I mean, he was a shithead, but I don't think, in my opinion, I should have went to the levels that I did, personally, but I just felt like, hey, he attacked me. Fuck it. And we even made fun of him for not being potty trained in one call. So we did all sorts of shit to terrorize that guy. I don't know where he is now. I haven't seen him. But I know he has a brother who went on YouTube who also had a rap career named the Yeeminator, who had the classic line in one of his songs. I don't remember his music, but he had one line that I just will never forget. Hip-hop is not dead. Just ask Lil Wayne and Eminem. And I said, this is the greatest rapper of all time at this point. Just by that one line alone.
Now, I will defend you on this. Yes, something you did was a bit uncalled for. I should know. I was at one point like that. But to be fair, like, this guy, James Eden, wasn't exactly an innocent soul. He was how can I describe him?
Well, let me put it to you like this.
Christian Gary. He was the white, I think, British Christian Gary.
You're right, but let's take a recent example. You've obviously heard the story of that big, I guess he's a Spanish dude because he has a Spanish last name, but I thought he was black, that kicked that black lady in the train, in the face. Okay, for all we know, maybe that black lady mouthed off at him and just cursed his ass out and just said some really vulgar shit before any of that happened. Does that necessarily mean it was warranted a kick in the face to where she's bleeding? That's how I feel we did to James Eden. Yeah, maybe he deserved a little bit of trolling, but I think we took it a wee bit too far.
I'm sorry, but
for me,
he was willing to go on camera, dance half, and then get with a Guitar Hero guitar. Okay, so like, it's okay. He kind of deserved it.
He did go show up on camera without any pants on. I do remember that, and I was just like, okay, why. I mean, I understand if you're sitting and you're going to sit the whole time, but there was one point where he had to get up, and you saw him pantsless. He had no pants. And I'm still scarred by that.
He was a very awkward boy. All right, so now you did have a bit of a following because you know at the time like it was new to YouTube, the whole YWC or RWC or YouTube shooter thing. It was new at the time, so you were to me you were like maybe one of the top YouTube shooters. You hit on wrestling, and you did have a bit of a following. And keep in mind, like, for, like, the YWC or whatever you call it back then, 500 subs or, like, 100 subs, period, it still gets you a lot of views no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to thank you because you did introduce me to something. I know it's out of wrestling that, that I'm now a big fan of, and that's independent and Japanese wrestling. It was because of you, that I get to know Hayabusa and Misawa, and I
really?
went on my way. Yes, you did. It was you. You're welcome, by the way. No, thank you, by the way. No, I'm sorry.
Same. Okay, right back at you. Both words.
Yes. But yeah. So you introduced me to Japanese wrestling, and I went on my way to look up some of these guys, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. They hit each other really, really, really hard. Kind of badass. And of course, ROH, Noah, all that stuff. Like, damn, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I thank you. I thank you very, very much.
Well, you're very welcome, and morally thank you for for giving these companies a chance, because at that time, that's all I wanted was for wrestling fans who were constantly bitching and complaining that the WWE products sucked. And I don't know how they could say that because, I mean, who doesn't like the old day coming out or, the club doing comedy segments about New Day's testicles? Who doesn't love that shit? Or Bobby Lashley's sisters? That's like quality writing there. So
quality writing, quality.
I'm just saying, personally. But if you didn't like the WWE, hey, there's other places. Matter of fact, I remember going to an ROH show one time, and your mind may explode on this. Somebody was talking about PWG, and the fucking guy said, no, I will not watch wrestling unless it shows up on my TV. And I'm like, okay, you gotta remember, Vince McMahon is like one of the few billionaires investing into wrestling. Unless there's a billionaire investing into a company, well, AEW now, this is going back like 7 years ago when this was made, this comment, you aren't going to get a TV deal. You're going to have to try and grow your company. And this guy was just prohibiting that. So, fuck him.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Noah since, albeit they haven't been really improving. If anything, they kind of a little bit downhill, a little bit. Not too much, but, it's a shell of their former glory days. Let's just say that.
You think it's because of Masawa's death?
Oh, it was Masawa's death. The rumor of the Yakuza being involved for the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, Kenta leaving? That didn't help at all.
No.
Who's the Marufuji? The big dude, right? That Marufuji? No, what's it called?
No, that's Morishima.
Yeah, Morishima. Him retiring wasn't really a good thing either. Cause like one thing after another, like all these top names kept leaving. It was until like to the point where it was just Marufuji, and that was it. And he could only so much. Now the guy like Keno, Atsushi Cortega, something like that. I can't say it. I apologize. But yeah, now it's getting back slowly to where it once was.
That's good, because, I mean, New Japan shouldn't be the only Japanese wrestling promotion out there that's flourishing into the States. You need more of that, especially if it's going to catch on. So, more Japanese wrestling, the better.
I agree. Like I said, like, I like everyone. Like, in my group calls with Sean and stuff, like, I tell them, like, yeah, there are other promotions, there's Dragon Gate, there's BJW, even though it's a deathmatch promotion. There's Noah, all this stuff, anything. Just avoid all Japan because they're very sad to watch. They're very, very sad to watch. They're very boring.
Oh, yeah.
There they are.
Yeah, they kind of lost their luster after 2000 when the mass exodus happened.
Which yeah, you mean like the third one that happened to them?
Oh, I'm thinking of the one from when Misawa, Kobashi, like literally everybody but Kawada like ditched their asses.
Oh yeah, it's just so my god. How the fact I don't know how they still like. Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? All right, so do you know BJW?
That's the real hardcore, like over the top wrestling promotion.
Yes.
With Ryuji Ito and all that. Yeah, I remember.
Yes. So all right, so I'm part of a page called Classic Japanese Wrestling, and they talk about not just classic wrestling, but current stuff too. And they put a attendance on the page of recent attendance, and several times I've seen BJW outdraw All Japan. They had more people going to the shows, and they drew more money than All Japan has.
Holy fucking
And
Christ!
yeah, you can say, "Oh, they're smaller." No. Like it'll be like 200 people or like 500 people at a Big Japan show, and like 150 people at an All Japan show, and I'm like, God damn, that's a blow.
Yeah, well, it's like it only takes one moment in the history of wrestling to just completely alter your business. And I personally think that Exodus is what fucked All Japan. Just like the Montreal Screwjob fucked WCW and helped WWF. So I don't want them to go out of business because no wrestling promotion, I mean, other than Impact at one point, would be beneficial going out of business. So
Again, like everything All Japan, it wasn't just the accident. It was like a bunch of things too, like Giant Baba dying, and then like Lady Bob, Mrs. Baba taking over, and she's not really that great. Well, she wasn't. She's dead now.
Right.
And just it's just a very very sad thing. So yeah, but at one point, like back in the '90s, I guess they were like probably the biggest promotion, like bringing in New Japan at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, they had the best matches.
and if I'm not mistaken, when you introduce the wrestling world to Noah, like little me, at one point Noah was doing far better, far better than New Japan. Uh, thank you, Inoki.
Damn straight.
were you were you a fan of New Japan back then? Back when they were trying to be real?
The only New Japan I watched at that point, if you're talking back then, the only New Japan I watched was old school New Japan from the 90s, and it was mostly Great Muta stuff, because I'm a huge mark for Great Muta. Never got a chance to meet him. I got to meet Liger, so that part of my life is complete, but I was watching mostly Muta stuff, whereas Noah, I was actually like trying to download shows, legitimate shows that had just happened, and watching them in full. And at that point, Kobashi was just like, I know people put Misawa at the top. I was always the Kobashi guy because
Kawada guy right here. Kawada guy.
I can live with that. Kawada had the kicks. Misawa had the elbows, and fucking Kobashi would just chop the shit out of somebody's chest. Like, I still cringe when I watch Kobashi versus Sasaki. Kensuke Sasaki. When they fucking have that 5-minute just chop fest. That's just some... there's raw meat on their chests after that. Like, pure raw meat.
And as simple as that sound, and Ryan Carroll knows about this too. He's also a New Japan fan. He's said it too. Back in, I want to say, the mid-2000s, New Japan was hands down the stupidest promotion in Japan at the time. Like you think Kobashi chopping the crap out of people. Watching Murakami, I probably said his name wrong, beat the ever-loving fucking piss out of Shibata to a bloody pulp. A bloody pulp where he's bloody, Shibata's bloody, the mat's bloody. It was like, oh my god, who would allow this? This isn't a shoot, this is like a brutal beating.
To clarify what Jay is saying, just imagine or rewatch JBL and Eddie Guerrero. That's exactly what he's going about, probably worse.
Oh God, there were no cheers or something. No, just a pure being. Now, to be fair, Shibata at the beginning of the match, he was the first one to jump him and kind of hit him a little too hard, and
Hmm.
Murakami was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because he's a MMA fighter. He's a legit MMA fighter he was doing pro wrestling at the time, and as soon as Shibata got off him, Murakami just went straight at him and just start beating the crap out of him. Like I was one time, I think either headbutt him or punch him so hard, Shibata, like a second pedal, just falls back, lands on the mat, and Murakami is just still beating the piss out of him. And I'm like, oh my god, end the match, end the match.
I mean, at least they did that with what was that? The Great Antonio and Antonio Inoki, the fat guy that just wouldn't sell for Antonio Inoki. And there's one part where he like elbows him 4 times on the neck, and after the fourth one, Antonio just blocks him and just had enough of his shit and just fucking chops him, trips him on his leg, and just starts kicking him in the face so hard to the point where the guy's busted open. They have to stop the match and just be like, okay, this is Antonio Inoki's match, because he just got sick of this guy no-selling everything he was doing. And as great as Antonio Inoki is, I mean, you don't want to fucking tap into his ego.
Oh, no, he's a very scary man. Horrible booker, but a very scary man.
Yeah, Antonio Inoki and Bruiser Brody. Imagine those two just trying to have a match together. Yeah, no way you could have anything like that happen.
Or the greatest Sasuke versus the Dirt Bike Kid, something like that. Where the greatest, have you seen that match? Where the greatest Sasuke is kicking the shit out of him, right? And like near the end of the match, has him in a guillotine, right? But he picks him up, and he's like kind of hanging, and like it's a shoot guillotine. It's a shoot guillotine. So he's cranking it, and I'm like, oh my god, that man's gonna die. Yeah, man's gonna die.
I do remember that. I forgot what the story behind that whole shoot was, but yeah,
I think,
that
like,
was...
the Dirt Bike Kid had a bit of an ego. He had a belt. Where he got it from, I don't know. Kind of didn't deserve it. And like, he just kept no selling the Great Sasuke. And like he kept botching a lot of moves. Like, he botched a lot of moves. Like he was going for the splash, and it was the worst looking splash. And you see him fall flat on the mat, and the Great Sasuke sees the opening and starts kicking the crap out of him. I'm like, yo, this is fucking hilarious.
Oh, imagine if we had this in call where we're actually like shooting promos and one person just gets so pissed off they stiff the other in the actual promo.
Yo, I would mark out for that.
All right, let me go grab Kevin since I'm feuding with him at the moment. I'll see what happens. I'll get back to you if he survives. So.
You can't hurt Kevin. Like Kevin will talk shit about you, but he'll smile in your face in in a loving way.
Oh, I can't tell you how much I have given him shit for that. I have told him from day in, day out, if you're going to be pissed, you can't be smiling. This guy will smile if I kick him square in the nuts. There's no pissing this man off.
There is not. Like that promo you did with him and Travis, and he's smiling the entire time. He's supposed to be pissed, and I'm like, Kevin.
You know what I want? This is my goal in life. I don't care if it's at WrestleMania or NXT or whatever, some big trip. I'm going to get the Goonie and Kevin in a room, and I'm going to do my best to be the biggest asshole to both of them. And I want to see who cracks first, just to see who can actually stay.
That's far too many. That's way too positive, bro. That's way too much positive energy. Like, you talk shit, right? And they both get up, they'll smile at you, and they'll give you a hug. And they won't let go until you are smiling.
I think Kevin would be the one giving the hug. Goonie would be the one giving me a blunt. And I can't let that go. I gotta have the blunt. So
there you go, man. It's okay, Steve. God damn it.
Yeah, I'll admit defeat.
All right, so I guess we'll jump into the fan questions. All like 4 of them. Scott McShannon asked. Okay, it's like 5 technically. How do you actually pronounce your name? Please do tell.
Well, well, normally I pronounce it asshole because that's what I am, but believe it or not, it's Metashevsky.
Metaskevsky, what?
Okay, pretend you're saying meadow.
Meadow?
Like meadow. Meadow, Chess.
Shesky?
Chess. Just Chess.
Shek?
Chess.
Chesk.
You're putting a K at the end. It's just, say it SS. Just
Okay.
S at the
Chess.
Chess.
Shesh.
Chess.
Shesh.
And then ski.
Ski. Steven
Meadow
Shesky.
Trust me, it wasn't easy for me to pronounce. I still think that my ancestors were trolling, because they even they couldn't be this dumb to come up with a name like that.
This is very difficult. Hold on, wait. My phone's vibrating. But hey, as I'm like away for a little bit, just sing for me, please.
Meadow-Shesky, everybody. That's how it's pronounced. Okay? I did not come up with this name. Some dumb motherfucker from my lineage years ago decided, you know what, we're going to have a kid in the 21st century who's going to have a hard time getting girls with this.
I'm back. All right, so let's read from my thing. All right, so I got 2 messages from my cousin. It's about my birthday that's coming up very soon.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, congrats. This is the best news ever.
That ain't right.
Yeah, it's something good. Yay, congrats. I lead to your imagination. Alright, next message. As you can see, Jammin is very professional.
Yes.
Alright, so as you said, like, you know, now that we're done talking about fucking Japanese wrestling and your fucking name, alright, let's dive into Call. Now, you, like I said, you've been in Call for a while. 10 years, I would say, maybe?
Give or take.
Alright, so what was the first bed you were in?
First Fed that I can remember was YTCW, but I don't really recall. I know I was in something else prior. But YTCW was actually the first one that I was in and I actually had some sort of, like, long-term investment in. YTCW, I would say, was the original COH, if that makes sense. Except, at least the owner of COH was way more, had more of a capability of compromising.
Now, what was this guy's name who ran YTCW?
Oh, David.
You still talk to him?
I have not spoken to him in 5 years. In fact, we had a bad falling out. To give a Cleveland Notes version of that story, he gave me he basically gave me ownership of his company. I had my call company. He had his. It was basically merged into one. I had it as Raw and SmackDown, but guys, if you're planning to run a call company, only do as much as you can. Don't overdo it. I couldn't run 2 brands at this point. I decided not only that, I felt like the YTCW portion was stale, so I wanted to merge them together and create one show. So I created a show called Winds of Change, and it was going to take all the titles from his company, all the titles from my company, we're going to merge them together, and my main event was Kevin and TLD, Kevin Crisis, whatever, and Kevin Crisis I had win in a 30-minute match. Well, David wasn't too happy with that, and we shared the same account, and he basically changed the password without my knowledge and took all of my history out there, deleting it before I can even retrieve it.
Not the first time that happened to you.
Yeah. So that was basically my breaking point. I was just like, fuck it. I ain't gonna deal with this guy anymore because he wanted his guys to win. He was pissed I got rid of the women's division. Now, I'm sorry. I would love there to be a women's division in Cub, but at this point it's a sausage fest. There's not enough tail. I can't help it if girls do not fall for this shit. So he got mad at that, but instead of coming to me like a man and saying, hey, if this ain't the way I want you to go, we're going to have to split apart, fine, no problem. everything would be bygone. But he went the slimy route. So that's basically what happened, and it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I remember because like I asked you about this. This was before I had the show, and you told me the complete history, and and just from hearing it, sounds like a complete fucking mess. And if I'm not mistaken, that's probably maybe the first Exodus in Call. Uh, then everyone jumps shit to COH, and and there you go.
Well, see, here's the thing. COH came about way before that incident.
Oh.
COH. Okay, so basically, let me break it down to you like this. His WrestleMania, I remember the exact day because it was literally the day before the CM Punk Pipe Bomb promo. He uploaded it. And that was going to be David's swan song. He was giving the company to Travis. Travis was going to be the careholder of this company. Well, Travis had a falling out with a couple of friends of David's. Okay, fair enough, whatever. That's their business. Well, also, Travis was having capture card problems, and so basically David kicked Travis off the page. Travis was like, okay, fuck that. It wouldn't have worked anyways because this is the story I remember. Maybe Travis will remember if I say this. So David had two guys, DTP and Liam G. They were a tag team. They were based off of him and a best friend of his that never saw the light of day. It was just somebody based off of that. And so he had two shows as well. It was, I think it was called Rage and Livewire or some dumb shit. Or Burnout. And because Travis was going to put him on Burnout instead of Rage, Burnout being SmackDown, Rage being Raw, David said, I will kick you off the page and will fire you if you do not put him on Rage. Even though he was giving 100% creative control to Travis. It should have been the sign right there that he should have just quit. But that's what we were dealing with. We're dealing with a guy that took minuscule things. It was virtually Vince McMahon. Oh, you can't call it a belt. It's a title. Like, stupid shit that wouldn't matter to your average Joe. So, that was 2011. The incident I had was 2014, so.
That sounds fucking awful. Dreadful. Alright,
yeah.
So, let's skip the sad pass and go back to another sad pass where your account got hacked. Your YouTube account got hacked. Guess what happened?
Oh my god. It technically wasn't hacked. Rob had my password. He got into an emotional rampage as he would back in those days. And he closed my YouTube account. I just basically emailed YouTube. I think, I'm not sure if you can still do this today, but I just basically reopened the account. Videos were all gone, and that's really the extent of it. And Rob and I made up about a month after that, and we had about like 2 or 3 more falling outs that year, and then pretty much we haven't fallen out since. So to give Rob credit, he matured over the years. I think him having a kid really matured him.
Was he married at like one point? I was wrong. I could be wrong.
I don't want to spread his personal life off the...
I apologize. I hope he's not listening. I'm sorry, Rob.
It's okay. He's probably not even listening. The only extent I'll go to is that he's with somebody now. That's all that needs to be said.
All right. Okay, so now let's go back to the beginning of COH. If I'm not mistaken, the roster of COH was quite a little shitty because there were more bad people than good people. Am I wrong? Correct?
You're talking about when it first started.
Yeah.
A
even amount of shit and good.
I would say, compared to now, yeah, you could probably say they were shit. Back then, well, let's see. You had me and Bateman. You had Nate. You were not there yet. You didn't come in until like about a couple years after.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
You'll have to tell me why, but I don't remember who else was. Oh, Kevin. Nitro was not there full time.
The Wiz was there.
God, don't even. That's a situation where if it happened today, I probably would have been on the Travis boat and called him God and all that because like I just love trolling people. But back then, it just annoyed me that a guy who they should have went the Amazing Punk route. You know he's not good. Give him a gimmick that will make his terrible promo skills actually enjoyable. It's like, okay, I hate when people stutter. I hate when I stutter. But Jimmy from South Park makes stuttering so fucking funny. So try and mask it somehow.
I remember when I first saw his promo, and like his camera was so off, like the top of his head was cut, and I'm like, you're not gonna fix this? You're not gonna reshoot this? Come on now. I mean, you know, it's a rookie move, but come on now, it's kind of cringy.
Oh, but that was part of it. He was cringy. But okay, going back to what David said, and this is where his contradictions come in. His philosophy was, if you get a lot of views, you get a lot of comments, you're going to get pushed, okay? Now, I'm not sure if you... I'm pretty sure you know what good heel heat and go away heat is. But
yes,
to those who don't, good heel heat is where you piss the people off enough where they want to tune in to see you be vanquished. Bad heel heat is where people are basically saying that they're skipping your promos or they're not going to continue watching the shows. That's what the Wiz had. And he just kept pushing them because, he's getting a reaction. Well, X-Pac got a huge reaction too, and I don't recall them giving him the world title. But if... I'm just saying. I don't even know why people hated X-Pac. That's the crazy thing. Like, he was X-Pac. He was 1, 2, 3 kid. Like, why would you hate Hardcore Holly? He was Thurman Plug. You can't hate Hardcore Holly when he was Thurman Plug in some point of his career.
Yeah, I never knew why you hated X-Pac. I never knew why. Weird.
I remember he got... They turned the coin X-Pac after him. The only thing I could think of is because he was the same X-Pac in 2001 as he was in 1998. Which... Okay, you can think that way, but Triple H, what has he changed in his character since 2012? He's the same guy for 7 years.
Well, no, he had a sledgehammer.
Oh, you mean somewhere along the way he traded the original sledgehammer he had in the 2000s for a new one?
Yes.
I buy it.
All right, so... back to the early days of COH. Like I said, you know, in my opinion, if it's COH Hall of Fame, you will be the first name I would put in there. Because you are hands down, you played a very important role. You and I have our disagreements, but I will not take away the fact that you played a very important role in COH. You are basically our taker, except you're neither good, and you could walk to the ring like a normal person.
Yeah, don't take me 10 years, but Travis would actually disagree with you on one thing. First Hall of Famer, he still, if you saw the podcast I did, he wants Bateman as number one.
I heard, and nothing against Bateman, and it's Travis' opinion, it's Travis' company, but I am right, Travis is wrong, and it should be you.
I would say at the moment, if it were up to me, I would put Nate as the first one, because
a different answer from everyone.
I say Nate only because, okay, Nate and I have had our disagreements before. Nothing is like, oh, fuck you. But Nate, you got to admit this. If it weren't for Nate, Ego would have never saw COH. As much as his end was not the way everybody would have hoped, it ended in a piss poor way. Caleb Blair came in. Who the hell else? Daniel Mars.
Really? Are we? Let's come on. Look. Let's pretend he never existed. Let's pretend he never existed. Okay. Let's not put that on Nate.
Fair enough. I'm just saying he brought a lot of guys into the company and brought a lot of people from the CWS side. I'm not sure if he introduced you to COH. That's why I didn't bring your name up.
If it was okay. So how I got in was, I think it was right after my thing on FTC. That's Goonies Fed that he used to run.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I cut a really good promo that a lot of people were giving me praise for to the fucking moon. Like Goonie was praising me. I think Sean, Carol praising me, and Travis like, hey, dude, I heard your promo, pretty fucking good. You want to get signed to Steel Wage? I'm like, okay, sure, and that's how I got in.
But I love how you got in, and it was with Owen B. Youngblood.
Okay.
The greatest team. What was it? The Unwanted Masses?
Okay, look, I put in a lot of effort in that tag team. I tried my best. I tried my fucking best. But it's so hard to carry someone who isn't that good. So hard.
Are you saying that Owen B. Youngblood was subpar in quality?
Max is my friend. He is my friend, but I'm going to be honest. He was very subpar. And also, like, do you know how many people were telling me to like dump Youngblood and go solo or join someone else? Everyone I was talking to at that time, they were like,
Funny.
Jay, no, Jay. I'm sorry, my opinion, but I think you should dump Youngblood. I think you're much better as a solo act. Levi said this. Austin said this. Sean said this. Carol said this. Alright? And everyone's been telling me, except for Travis, were telling me, you need to dump Youngblood and go solo. And I'm like, instead of going solo, I'll hang out with Ego.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't even remember his promo skills, but I do recall that during my feud with Daniel Mars, it seemed like everybody was hoping that I'd beat the shit out of him in game form. That I get it. I get it. Daniel, I said it in my podcast, he says so many dumb things. It's like one of those things where, you know, where somebody does something and there's that slow motion, no! Because as soon as he says it, I know what's going to happen. That's how I felt with him every time he would say something. Like, I would put up a meme about him, my favorite one being that SpongeBob meme, the salty spittoon one, and his rebuttal to me was like, I said something like, the guy watched the Daniel Mars promo, yeah, so, without throwing up, and then the guy's like, okay, right this way, and he's like, and your mother, he said something about that my mother should have swallowed me or something. Just like, Daniel, please, I'm trying to get you over here. You're not, or do you remember Kennedy's U Shoot where he was talking about Shawn Michaels? You're not working with me. You're not working with me.
Yes.
That's how I felt. You're not working with me right now.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I get you trying to be nice, but like I have too many bad stories with Daniel Mars. I'll be more than happy to tell them one day if I go on my own little by myself solo episode. But nah, too many bad memories with Daniel Mars. But okay, but there are people you have worked with, and you know that have done wonders, amazing. Let's go probably to their early best feat of all time, one of the best early days. You and Bateman.
Boy, oh boy. I get conflicting stories about who started that. Whether it was Bateman's idea, whether it was Travis's idea to do that feud. I'll be honest, after my match with Ultimate Glory, I was like, well, I guess that was my run. Then I watched Cold War, had the match with Galvin, and then Bateman had his match, and then my character came out and I'm like, am I going to really be involved in the world title picture? Okay, cool. So, because I know Travis wanted me to be mid-card, because at that time I was winning world titles like crazy. Now, I can't even remember the last time I won a world title, but I remember Bateman cut this scathing promo about me, and everything he said was true. Like, people don't realize Bateman was good. When he wanted to be, that fucking guy was really, really, really good.
No, of course, I will never tell him he was very good.
He was, and the thing about Bateman, too, is that he's like you in a way. He has low tolerance for people he feels are wasting his time. That guy, when I responded to him, I did that promo in the, the Port Authority, and I think it was from there that he really, we got along, because he was like, instead of me bitching to Travis that he made fun of me personally, because he said some really mean shit, like something that would probably be like, you went a little too far, but he basically gained respect for me. I always respected him, and from that point, we was just like, okay, let's take this feud and make it as best as we can. Because at that time, I don't think there were that many feuds, or at least big-time feuds, other than maybe Zayn and Patriot, Alex and Bret Titus, that I can recall. And some House of Hypocrites and Zayn and whatever. There was not that many feuds, so I wanted to at least build something off of that, and I would still say, even though it's the most important feud of my COH career, it's not my favorite, believe it or not.
Oh, and who would that be?
Believe it or not, my favorite feud
and Calvin Barcelot. I knew it.
Oh, well, that belongs on its own category. Like it's like when you say the greatest movie and you don't mention Kung Pao. Well, Kung Pao's in its own category. Same with The Room with Tommy Wiseau. No, my favorite feud of all time in COH to this day, because I don't think there was any flaws to it whatsoever, was me and Zane LaFontaine.
Go on.
There was no faults to that. Okay, so the OBN had just come in, and I just realized that, shit, we're fucked if we don't come up with something, because the OBN's going to overtake the whole company. And to be honest, it did, but when I did that kidnapping angle with Stu, I felt like we at least elevated ourselves to a point where it's like, okay, if OBN is most important story or storyline A, they're 1A, we're 1B. Like, okay, they're the most important feud, but we're just a notch below them. That kidnapping angle that we did over WrestleMania weekend, some of the most fun shit, and it was, I guess, the start of this funarchy that everybody loves. So, that, and the fact that Stewart, I think, brought it after the kidnapping, like the anger, the angst. The only thing that I am disappointed in is that he never won the world title after that.
He was going to at one point, but he ended up having a real career in wrestling, and look who he is now.
Yeah. He's doing ring announcing, he's doing video game tournaments, so good for him.
And I believe he's very involved with Monster Factory.
I'm glad he is, but the thing is, I don't like, okay, when I put over Adam, Kenyon Phoenix, I was pissed off he didn't win the title, because I'm like, okay, is this the Zane LaFontaine effect all over again, where I put somebody over and then it just goes nowhere? Because by the time Ultimate Glory 5 happened, and then Daniel Mars, God bless him, he stuck his foot in his mouth, got his ass fired. I'm like, wow, now that's 3 talents that I put over, and nothing happened. Adam at least finally fucking won the world title, so it's like, okay, it finally works some way. But if I'm to work with a young talent, I want them elevated. I don't want to be that guy that's just like, okay, I'm gonna coax my ego and just destroy this young guy. Like, if you're gonna throw me with a Ben Hopkins, I have no desire to just bury him. What does that do for me?
I think, like you said, for a lot of these, most of it, all of it, is just like very bad timing. Like, like again, Zayn, Stu, and his career picked up. Adam just got really lazy. Daniel Mars just didn't know how to shut the fuck up. So it was like stuff is basically out of your control, out of Stewart's control. So like they couldn't really do anything whatsoever. Alright, so now let's bring up a stable that could have been something but didn't. 7 Deadly Sins.
I was not for that from the beginning. Like, from the very fucking beginning, I was not for that. In fact, it goes even further. So it's Accurate Enterprise, for anybody who's a new listener, was me, Alex Enterprise, and Scott Adams. And it was Travis who kept pushing the idea of Fisk going into the Accurate Enterprise. No disrespect to Andrew. Andrew's a great kid. He's one of those kids I can't see anybody disliking personally. I've never seen him say at least I haven't seen him say a bad word about anybody. I guess I'm wrong.
You're off. You're far off. I have corrupted that child.
Okay, so then, to be fair, it has been a while since I've talked to that guy in a lengthy period. Most of our chats are in... Anyways, I have no disrespect to Andrew. I like Andrew, but I did not want Fisk in the Accurate Enterprise because I did not want this to be overbloated with people. I did not want a group of more people that were just going to launch onto this Accurate Enterprise, especially since I knew going in that the Accurate Enterprise was pretty much done in the lead up to Ultimate Glory. So I tried my best to come up with a unique way. To be perfectly fair and honest, when we were talking, I was thinking, when this is way before I knew about Daniel Mars and how he would not keep his mouth shut, I was thinking of recruiting him similar to how Joker turned Two-Face into Two-Face in Dark Knight. Do that with him. But since it was Fisk, I said, okay, I wanted to do the CM Punk Nexus thing with me, Ryan, with him, where he would attack me and we would gain the tag team titles, and then Fisk would be a part of the group. That's how Fisk gets in. And he got in, but they did nothing with Fisk from that point. And then they added Ego in, and I was just like, this is too overbloated. There's too many guys here. Not only that, the Accurate Enterprise, I don't think Ego needed the Accurate Enterprise. They were fine what they were doing.
I think it was basically like a heat of the moment. Like, we thought to ourselves, like, holy shit, this would be a huge stable. But then, like, we realized, maybe it wasn't probably a good idea. And then fucking Levi, and he's blocked me for a while now, decided to have the Ten Commandments. And basically, that the face basically outnumbered the heels, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was not smart of Levi. Well, it wasn't smart of Levi, but it also wasn't smart of Travis for running with it. He should not have ran with it. He should have just been like, Levi, you need to just, like, put that to the sideline. But why? It's 10 Commandments versus 7 Deadly Sins, and maybe I could go heel. And from Metallica to Megadeth, I can come out to Megadeth instead of Metallica. So, I'm just saying, it was... That thing, to me, was doomed from the start, and I hate being right in that scenario. I really wanted to be wrong.
Well, luckily, like, after it, everyone basically flourished. We've all flourished since then, luckily. Okay, now, I guess I can go into questions because we've been just chit-chatting, people did ask questions, and we've been ignoring them. Again, Scott Shannon, why is Ben not world champion everywhere yet?
Why is Ben... well, because you're not around to pimp out his greatness, so you better get to work there.
GMR, what were your favorite storyline you were ever a part of, and who would you like to work with in the future?
Well, I think I answered the first question earlier, the Zane thing, but I'll be honest, the Adam stuff was pretty intuitive. I had to do some... I think I mentioned this in the podcast that I had with Scott, which will be uploaded later on, but when we filmed that, the me stabbing Adam, the cops actually showed up on us, and we almost got arrested, but figuring that you got, 3 skinny white dudes... Yes, Travis, he's white. And Adam is just...
I agree.
Adam is just short. And my girlfriend's so unopposing that they just, like, let us go. But we got the cops on us. But that was kind of intuitive. As far as who do I want to face? Goddamn. The laundry list is way too fucking big. So, everybody but Ryan Carroll, pretty much.
Alright, so you heard it right here. Emma Accuracy versus Adam Oliver.
Hey, Adam Oliver, he can tell you what, since everybody has this weird infatuation with me and Patriot being the same person, Adam Oliver can learn a thing or two from Patriot. Let Patriot do like a JBL's cabinet, and he could be like the Orlando Jordan or whatever. So, he can learn from him.
True. Alright, so now, Josh, I will ask, origin story of Emma Accuracy, the Patriot, and wonderful motivation.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
origin stories for inaccuracy, the Patriot, and wonderful motivation.
The story, like the backstories to
Yes,
them.
the origin story. Yes.
All right, wonderful motivation was actually Chris's idea, Caleb Blair's. That's the easiest one. That was his idea. I think I came up with the Mo Houston character based off of Bo Dallas, and Kevin was doing something similar, and he was just like, either we're going to have you feud or we're going to have you team up. Yeah, let's team up. Eventually, Sean acquired them, and that's that for them. M-Accuracy was originally an R-Truth ripoff from 2011, and after he won the title, I figured, where the hell can this character go from here? Because, like, he's complaining that conspiracies are holding him back, and he just won the world title, so how the fuck can I complain about conspiracies? So I decided, you know what, let's look through cinema. Heath Ledger's Joker is one of my favorite movie characters of all time, so I'll emulate myself from him.
What? No.
Yeah, it's shocking, I know. That with a little bit of Dean Ambrose, so... Patriot's a funny one. The character was created really right around the time Obama got into office, and we've dealt with, or at least where I worked. Now I still work at the same place, but at the time, it was bedridden with really hardcore conservatives, like I'm talking like type of conservative. I'm dead serious. And I thought it was funny at the time, because at the time, I just loved getting rise out of people who take politics too seriously. So I was like, hey, Patriot, you should do something like that. And sure enough, he did. And 10 years, about 10 years later, a little less than that, we got a little embodiment of that in the White House. And it's like, well, now he has more of a reason to be here. He'll still be the same guy, but now it's just, he's got Donald Trump in the White House. So there you go.
He's won. They've won.
They've won. Build that wall, damn it.
All right. Now, I thought about going to the whole Patriots thing. You know, the little controversy that happened with Patriot and Ray. But I'm pretty sure everyone knows about that at this point. If you don't, well, shame on you. Do your fucking research. What? Josh asked, why does Ben like to show us his ass?
Why does Ben like to show us his ass? If you've got a nice ass and you want to show it off, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, I have a few private messages from people. Ben Hopkins asked, how big is your dick and is it pretty?
Well, it's pretty big. I would say, best way to describe it. If you're expecting GM levels of big, you'll probably be disappointed, but it's at least, I don't know. I'll let you be the judge.
Just above average. How about that?
We'll go with that.
Sean asked, can I sniff your balls?
As long as you don't stick your tongue in my asshole while you're doing it.
Okay, that was just like from Sean. Can you stick his tongue in your asshole?
Well, I mean, as long as you ask prior, because otherwise it's rape.
And he also asked, if I can't stick my tongue in your asshole, can I stick my tongue in your dick hole?
Well,
I'm very sorry. Sean is a filthy, filthy man asking these questions.
I've always known Sean to be a filthy, filthy man. I mean, when the guy refused to smoke weed with us and drink with us at NXT 3 years ago, I knew he was hiding something.
Yeah, instead of doing drugs or alcohol, he does freaky shit with people.
What kind of fucking Briscoe brother are you?
Yeah, I know.
If you're not doing,
at least chew tobacco, Sean, please.
Some of the bit of photos that you've taken of him, he looks like he's got chewing tobacco in his mouth. It's great. It's beautiful.
All right. Okay. There are more questions I just gotta think of. Favorite porn star.
Favorite porn star. So this could be, oh my god. Favorite porn star. I'm just going to go with the obvious Alexis Texas. And Rachel Starr. Rachel Starr, there you go.
Good choices. I'm pretty sure Walter is also impressed by the switches. Alright. So, you're in multiple feds, you know, COH, AWF, PFF, QRF, you know, all multiple feds.
Yes.
Clearly, COH is your home. It really is. It's your home. Where do you see you taking your character in COH? You know, where do you see? Where do you think can it evolve? Can it, you know? Where do you see your character in COH later on as time goes on?
Wow. Well, there is one goal I still have in mind, and I don't know if it'll happen because of circumstances. But at Ultimate Glory 4, you had myself versus the Alex Enterprise. And at Ultimate Glory 5, you had Alex Enterprise versus Scott Adams. The perfect trifecta for Ultimate Glory 6 is myself and Scott Adams. So, for between now and then, as long as I know that my opponent at Ultimate Glory 6 is Scott Adams to make the perfect trifecta, that would hopefully be where the future goes. If Scott will still be around in COH at that point, obviously, lives overtake us. If not, who the fuck?
By the way, congrats, Scott. Congrats.
Yes. Otherwise, you know what? Let's let it be like what accuracy is supposed to be, a mystery.
A mystery. Oh, and I got a notification. Not for a question from Facebook. Wow, thank you, Facebook. Now people are gonna hear that. All right.
Awesome.
Oh, what else can I ask you? As you can see, I came so prepared. So
You can ask me the hard questions. I don't give a fuck.
There are hard questions I want to ask you, but you know I can't. I don't want to get the cops calling me. You know what I'm talking about. You know
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't want to get the cops calling me.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, it's an interview, and I knew going in there may be hard questions. So if I can't answer fucking hard questions, then I shouldn't even be here.
What are your thoughts on Austin? Austin Reed.
I'm trying to find the most polite way to put it, because I'm blocked by him. I would say he's a guy that just is so full of himself that he doesn't realize that he gives himself far too much credit than what he actually produces. So, in other words, I remember the day I told you he said, "Why can't everyone be just like me?" And I remember your reaction was of somebody who wanted to take a baseball bat and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, see, Aunt told me about that. When he said, "Oh, in the interview, you know, Steve said this," and your reaction was, and the longer I think about it, I kind of remember, not fully, I kind of remember that incident, and I remember this feeling, maybe because I was so enraged and so insulted by what he said that I put it in the back of my mind. Cause if I remember, it was like I think right before or after he left COH, right?
This was probably before his return, so I could have my dates mixed up, but I do recall it literally happened, and then maybe 10 minutes later I was going to call you guys telling you about it. So it was literally like within minutes.
He's a young boy, so I'll go easy on him. At that time he was very young, so I won't bash him too much.
That's part of why now I kind of realize why people marked out when he got squashed by Patriot at Ultimate Glory 5, because when it first happened, I was kind of blown away, like, wait a minute, the same guy that you guys wanted completely out of this company, now you're celebrating the fact that he just destroyed this other guy in 20 seconds. Like, what did Austin do? And then I had to put my mind to it. I'm like, oh, okay. That kind of explains it.
It's definitely because, like, you know, like, he does rub people the wrong. I know he rubs me the wrong way when we are talking.
Well, the only time he rubbed me the wrong way was our last conversation. He basically showed a video of an 18-year-old girl putting her feet on the chairs, and a cop basically told her, you can't do that, it's against the rules. She refused to do so. He sat there for 10 minutes arguing with her and then dragged her ass out of the train. And I said, okay, what did he do that was wrong? He did what his job entailed. And he basically came up with an argument that was so flawed and then said to me, don't even respond back because I ain't going to argue with fools. I'm like, okay. And I said something back just to be an asshole, and then he blocked me.
What's sad is he's from my state. It's the sad part. I am part
So.
of Boston, and that's the scary part. Now, again, although to be fair, back in the day, he was like, there were a few names that were supposed to be the future of COH. It was me, Sean, Carol, Austin, Levi, Fisk, Nitro, and just a few other names, a bunch of other names. And well, we saw how Austin and Levi went, and I will say this right now. Something did piss me off, and okay, I'm saying this right now. At one point, I did not like Steve, and Steve knows this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the breaking point for me was the whole Rivera thing. You remember that? Where it was you, Levi, I think Travis, and Boston, or Chris Michaels, whatever. You guys basically jumped me and Sean. At that time, how we felt, you were jumping us, despite the fact that we weren't really the perpetrators of the whole Rivera thing.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the exact how you fit into it. I only remember that I was more angry, not at you particularly. I was angry that David Rivera was just jumped on, and Levi threw me into the chat with you, making it seem like you guys did play a role. So I guess where I was incorrect was not getting your side of it. So that's probably where I was wrong. But
and that was the one thing that pissed me off about Levi, is the fact that he dragged me and Sean into it, and and he blocked me after that, and I will say this right now, he wrongfully blocked me. He wrongfully fucking dragged me and Sean under it. Maybe because I was so mad, I called him a fat ass and a retard. Maybe that had to do with it too.
Well, there again. Okay, I understand we all say things when we're hot-headed, so I get it. The only thing was that David Rivera just was in a situation where it felt like he was being dogpiled. Where more I got angry, it wasn't even at you. It was the following day. I don't know what Sean told you prior to that, but
man,
I don't know what was said to you, and I'm not going to assume he said it or if you presumed, but I do recall AJ and you telling me that you actually didn't say that. AJ said something along the lines of, I don't appreciate you ganging up on Sean because you had left the call. And I didn't recall us ganging up on him. I was questioning him on things, and I wasn't Sean has a tendency to back away sometimes and stutter over his words. I don't know if he's that same way now, but at the time he was. And it just came off that way, and I was just like, no, Sean, just answer the question. Just this. And I didn't feel I was jumping on him because it was just mostly me and him talking. Not me and 5 other people, asking the same question.
Well, Cash was there, and that to me was also a bit of a playing point because I heard his name, and you know how I feel about him. Oh, I said his name! I'm in trouble now!
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother chapter in and of itself. But suffice to say, I got mad at AJ for saying that. I exploded at him. I shouldn't have done that. But in the end, it was a stupid situation that happened 2 years ago that I put behind me. So.
Yeah, like I said, I just remember, and also not only that, and he's gonna hate the fact that I brought him up again, Cash. It was after. Okay, we might as well say why there was tension between the both of us. It's gonna be a very long podcast now. Shit. All right. So one of the moments It really rubbed me the wrong way. And you know what? Please, if Cash hears this, please by all means, just make sure I'll try my best not to shit talk him. If he hears this, please by all means, Steve, clarify that I'm trying my best not to shit talk him. It was after Ultimate Glory, and it was after, and you and Alex, or you guys made a Chicago post saying how it didn't make sense for Chronic to beat Cash because Cash had all this story, and everyone else was like, well, to be fair, Cash did this awful thing, and we feel like that overshadows the story, and everyone back and forth, you, me, Alex, and everyone else, and someone said it. I think it was either you or no, it was Alex. It was Alex, and I think Alex said in the heat of the moment. I told him like I told him like, dude, you and I said this to you too. I said this to you too, that you both kind of ignore what Cash does, and you kind of let it slide, give a slap on the wrist on certain things, and Alex said, yeah, because my life doesn't revolve around Caw. Despite the fact that it had to do with Caw in the first place.
Verify this, because it's never public. I don't let Cash slide away with anything.
Well,
Here's something people got to...
At the time, he felt that.
Right, but let me clarify something. When it came out that he threatened to break Sean's neck, I specifically, on 2 separate occasions, gave him the worst ass chewing that I could ever imagine. I told him, dude, you can't be fucking threatening people like that. If you threaten people like that, you're going to look bad. People are going to look at you like you're an asshole. I said that to him on 2 separate occasions. The thing is, the reason why maybe I can forgive Chris more so, is that when I chewed his ass out, rightfully so, he'll sit there and listen to me and not try to make excuses for his behavior. He may do that with you guys, and if that's what pisses you off about him, then I completely understand. I'm not here to defend that. What I'm saying is when I chew him out for those things, he listens, and he sits there and goes, you're right, Steve, I shouldn't have done that. Now, I even apologize to Sean on his behalf. I've apologized to Sean sometimes when I behave in a way where I lose my temper, because I don't like being that guy that loses his temper, because I hate that version of me. But when I do, what's done is done. Let me at least rectify it. But in Chris's case, I will chew his ass out when he does stuff. I chewed his ass out when he threatens Sonny. I don't like when he threatens people. It's what I think it is, personally, is he doesn't think before he acts. It's like when you called Levi fat and all that, you just lost your shit. You got pissed off. And and you realize they don't mean to say those things. Just like Chris, I don't think means to say those things. Because when I chew his ass out, if he would have came up with excuses, I'd be on your side. But he doesn't. He doesn't come up with excuses. He always owns up to what he said. My only gripe with him is he doesn't go and apologize. And I wish he would.
And I think, to you, he'll make up excuses about, when, if I remember, it was Sean, him, and I think maybe you. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of you were in a call. Sean told me about this, how he kept asking Chris all this stuff, and Christ, I know for a fact I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this part. I know for a fucking fact. I already dug my hole. I might as well continue. I told myself I wasn't gonna talk about Chris at all, but it was unavoidable. So yeah, back to the story. Sean asked him a bunch of questions, and since you were the middleman, maybe you clarify this for me. And I wasn't there for this. Sean asked him questions, and he kept walking around it.
It's entirely possible. The only time I ever remember playing middleman, it wasn't just me playing middleman. AJ was there too. And our goal there was not to get involved in the conversation. Our goal was to make sure that they didn't curse each other out and lose each other's minds in that whole scenario. AJ was there for Sean. I was there for Chris. We were supposed to be there to tell each other if they got way too out of line to tone it down. Otherwise, if Chris was dancing around the questions, at that point, it was not my place to intervene. I'm not sure if that's the same scenario Sean's talking about, because otherwise I'm not sure.
I think
But that's
yeah, that was because, god damn it, it was even that long ago, like what, a year ago too. It's a fucked up for. I have horrible memory.
It was definitely before he threatened his neck. I know that for a fact. I was at my girlfriend's house and I heard the whole thing.
Nah, I think it was after. I think it was after.
I just know it was not my place to get involved, because that was the whole point. I was not my role there was just to calm Chris down. AJ's role was to calm Sean down. I do remember giving comments at the end, and my comments were that, Chris, I think you told a lie, and that in your situation you tell more lies because you got caught in a lie, and I don't think you do it out of malicious intent. You just try to save yourself. I told him that. I tell him that a lot, but again, he doesn't give me lip when I tell him that. Like, if he kept saying, oh no, but it's this, then there would be problems. But he doesn't with me. And maybe that's the difference, is that when I don't know why he does it that way. I can't explain it. But if I chew his ass out, if I tell him something, he'll listen to me. And I guess for whatever reason, if you do the same, for whatever reason, he rebels. I don't get it. I don't know personally, but
I would give my opinions, but again, I don't get in trouble. I've already said his name way too much in this episode, and please, did I shit talk him at all? Oh, this entire time, did I?
I didn't see you taking unnecessary pot shots at him.
Yeah, yeah. So please clear that for everyone if he does listen to this. Now, all right, so. Okay, I think no. Okay, now the whole Rivera thing. Why I remember it was the day out. It was the day out there. I told you also how I didn't like you. I remember now. Okay, so from what I can't remember, Sean said this. The day that I accused you of being Sean was when you were making assumptions how we manipulate Andrew. Now again, if I'm wrong, please clarify. All right. From what I heard, that you say that you felt like we manipulate Andrew and all this stuff when we don't. What else was it? Shit. What else was it? God. And I said that how you don't know my group well enough to really make an assumption about my group, so please don't do that. And I remember I told you about. Now, again, I just want to clarify, because we've never really talked about this between you and me. No, if anything, when I did bring it up, it was me basically cursing you out, and again, I apologize for that. Like, clarify, because I would like to hear both sides, and, like, you understand, it's coming from my friend Sean, and, me being me, and, I was already mad because, like, I heard Cash was in that call, and he was involved, and you and him were kind of, not really kind of jumping him in a sense, but like it was an unfair advantage because it was just him by himself in a sense. Can you clarify anything at all about what I said?
Okay, so I don't remember you cursing me out. I remember your exact words were, "I'm going to be honest. I don't like you. I don't like your obsession with Patriot. There's not very much I like about you at all." And rather than just throwing it right back, if my hot-headedness would have kicked in, I probably would have said the same thing. But I chose not to, because it wouldn't have solved anything. I didn't want to re-antagonize you. And then you said, you're wrong about Sean. As far as the manipulating Andrew thing, I'm only basing that off of one incident, to be fair. And actually, you were not involved in that scenario. It was actually Sean and Carol. This was right around the time I was starting the eradication gimmick. My idea was to have GM and Fisk. I wanted two big guys to be my team, and it was explicitly told to me, and they, or at least Sean admitted it, and Carol admitted it, that they had convinced him not to do it. And I'm told, keep in mind, I am being told secondhand information. My fault. I should have gotten your side of the story. I'm not perfect, so... But I was told that there are many situations where Andrew is in a situation where he wants to do one thing, but you guys tell him to do something completely different, and he will do it because he's easily impressionable. So maybe that's where my angst came in and said that. And I guess I should have reworded it better because, again, I only got one personal experience of seeing that. As far as ganging up on him, that part, like I said, I don't recall because it was, 2 years ago when this incident happened. I was literally on vacation when the whole scenario was going down, so a lot of things were going at once. So if I did gang up on him, then that's on me. I was wrong, so I apologize on that. Excuse me. But I didn't think I was being too hard on him. I was being firm, but I didn't think I was being harsh. So I can't blame you for sticking up for him. He's your friend, so you're going to stick up for him. I totally understood that. There was an incident a little bit later down the line, which I don't know if we want to bring up personally, that I had to stick up for Cash, or I felt like I had to stick up for Cash, because it was a situation where I felt like it went too far. But that's all right.
All right, okay, no, I feel like I should clarify the whole Andrew thing. Now, it was just Carol and Sean, I kind of agreed to. And we were like, no, Andrew, don't fucking do it. No. We were like, Andrew, in our opinion, it wouldn't make sense for you to do the storyline because for us, at that time, we felt like Andrew had to do his own thing. He had to be solo. Mm. So for him to go back and be someone's, not really lackey, but someone's muscle, for us, we felt like it wouldn't help Andrew at all. So we told him our opinion, and we never said, hey, don't fucking do it, don't be a fucking idiot, you're not gonna do it all. We never said that. We just basically gave our opinion, and we felt like, trust us, dude, I think it'll work. If you did it, if you said no to this.
Right.
Now, we let him on the trip to drink a cup of melted ice cream and soda. As punishment. That's right, bitch. I said it out loud, and everyone now knows that you, Andrew, you lost the game of Uno, and you drank a combination of melted ice cream because my friends are fucking stupid, and they put the ice cream in the fridge, not the freezer, and soda, and you enjoyed it, you sick fuck. Now, okay, back to us.
That was an interesting story.
I felt like I had to put Andrew on blast for that because I'm a good father. I do that for him. Now, there are multiple incidents where I felt like you were kind of wrong on certain things about my group, and okay, I won't say any names, but it's someone that we both know, and one of my friends, and you don't exactly have the most positive things to say about him. I won't say his name, like, at all, but can you guess who I'm talking about?
You want me to say his name right now?
Don't say his name, but,
I have an idea of who I think you're referring to.
Yeah. Let's call him Coat Hanger. Shall we? Coat Hanger. That's his name now.
Okay.
Alright, so you made something about Coat Hanger, saying how he doesn't really care for us, or how he doesn't really care for Sean, and it was happening one night, and I heard that you try to have people turn on Coat Hanger. I've never once brought it up to you, and again, I am after I finish my thing, you are willing to clarify this for me by all means.
I clarify it. Okay, so I think you know what I was talking about when last year there was an incident that I took issue with.
Yes.
That you talked to me personally on. Let's just say Coat Hanger, I felt at that time, was constantly getting away with stuff that other people were getting punished for. For example, in that Daniel Mars situation that we're talking about, I felt as though if I were running a car company and that happened under my watch, both would have gotten punished because one person instigated it, the other person took it too far. But yet only one person got punished. That's where I raised issue that night. Later on in that night, I don't know how it got into that moment. But there was a point where I brought up the incident that we're talking about from a year ago. that incident, all of a sudden, this is going back to what I'm saying. There was two completely different reactions when I brought up the incident from you and said coat hanger. You showed regret. You showed malice. You were like, I was wrong. At the time, I didn't respond because I was way too heated and I did not want to curse you out because I felt like, you know what, you said your piece. Coat hanger, on the other hand, kept saying that the other person started it. It's their fault. This, that, and the other. Kept shifting the blame. And on top of that, I felt as though that knowing, you should know, because you love, I shouldn't say you love, but you're good friends with Sean.
Hey, I love Sean. He's my good friend. I don't love coat hanger. I tolerate coat hanger. I have a positive emotion towards coat hanger.
Okay, fair enough. But you like, or you love Sean. And if somebody were to do what happened that year ago to Sean, I am pretty sure if you heard Sean tell you this certain incident, you'd be like, motherfucker, whoever is doing this, I am going to kick their ass, I'm going to raise hell, nobody's going to hurt Sean. I'm sure you would do that.
I would.
Said coat hanger thinks that if I'm doing the same thing for my friend, that I'm sticking my nose in where it doesn't belong. To me, that's just completely asinine way of thinking. And I got heated in that call because it was the complete carelessness of who he says is his friend. Okay? I was super heated that somebody could be that, like, nonchalant. Now, either it's because he's nonchalant or he's coming up with excuses to prove he's right and that I'm wrong. I would hope it's the latter. But if it is the former, then that's telling to me of what type of human being that is that would say that he's a grown man, he could take care of his own shit. Especially since when Cash threatened to break his neck, the first thing that happened, and rightfully so, I'm saying it out loud, Cash, you kind of had it coming, he got backlash for it. He should not be doing something that's going that far. But yet, when another incident happens where it's going way too far, well, it's that person's fault. And if we're going to use that logic that, oh, well, he started it, so therefore everything happening after fact, it's whatever. Like I said with Daniel Mars, Daniel would not have said stupid shit if certain coat hanger wouldn't have started insulting him. Now, the incident you're talking about was a year ago. Uh-huh. I still don't have any warm feelings for said person. But I'm not the type of guy to just say, fuck you, we'll never be friendly. If there can come a point where we can talk amicably, then it's automatic water under the bridge. I'm not that guy that's going to just hold grudges. I don't care to.
Now, my thing was, like, from what I heard, was, like, you try to get, like, Travis, Johnny gets him. Again, you clarified it. I'm just saying, like, what I heard from my side of the whole thing. And I was going to message you about this, but I was suspended on Facebook because I was misbehaving, like I tend to do. And I was going to tell you how, you were kind of wrong on coat hanger. How you don't really know coat hanger that well to really make the assumption that he doesn't really care about his friends, because, like, I have several, incidents where he was there for me. And that was the key thing that really bugs me. I got annoyed that, that you were defending Daniel Mars because I'm very biased. I hate that man.
Well, that is a long term because I think he should have been fired. I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is both were acting up. Both should have gotten punished. And I see what you're saying. He obviously does things for you that I do not see. But just asking you in a personal perspective, if a situation came out where somebody threatened let's say Alex, somebody threatened his life and said that they were going to do something to him, right? Mm-hmm. like break his neck, like in that situation. If I just reacted with, he's an adult, he can take care of his own stuff, wouldn't that get you to think that I am acting way more callous than I should be for somebody who's supposed to be like a brother to me? It just, it brings out mixed feelings when you go out there and say that, well, he's a grown man, he can take care of his own damn self. That's, and I'm sure he's friendly to you guys, but when you don't display that to me, you display a completely different emotion. You can't fault me for assuming so.
Now I'm lost. Now, did Killhanger say that with the whole Cash and Sean thing, or is something else?
I'm sorry?
Like, what is it are you referring to that Killhanger didn't show, we know?
Okay, basically, what I was trying to tap into was the idea that if the incident that happened a year ago involved, let's just say, a very dangerous situation, the safety of my friends, just put it like that.
Uh-huh.
And I kept bringing up that if the same scenario happened to Sean, you wouldn't come to his aid? Again, because everybody came to Sean's aid when Chris threatened to break his neck. But his response was, oh, he's a grown man. He can take care of his own damn self.
You see,
that shouldn't...
I have a hard time seeing him say that because, like, he's always pat Sean's back when shit was happening to Sean. He was always the one having his back. So
But to be fair, I didn't realize he said that until somebody who else was in the call recalled him saying that and said that he sounded like an asshole for saying such thing. I was too hot-headed at the point. I was too heated because of all the assumptions that were made on me, and one of the arguments was, why didn't I stick up for Stu when Mason Chronic and him were going at it, even though it was in character? It was like, that really just set me off, because it was like, you're not even comparing apples and oranges, you're comparing apples and fucking tree sap at that point. But the thing that I was saying, though, is that it just seems to me that if you're just going to show that, like, all right, I this. I think it's insulting to tell me that I'm sticking my nose in where it don't belong for somebody I care about, regardless of what you may think of Cash. I think he's my friend, and if somebody's going to go to these lengths, I should stop him the same way you would stick up for Sean if somebody said, I'm going to break his neck.
I agree. But the thing is, like, when you're comparing Cash to Sean, there are more incidents with the other party than it is with Sean.
I'm sure there are, but it doesn't change the fact that Cash is a friend of mine, and I'm sure Cash has said some really dumb shit. I am positive he has. He says it around me. I've heard from you guys he said it around you. I just felt the incident that happened was taking things way too far in a feud which I thought was going way too far as it is. Because after, like, the umpteenth thing, I checked out of this whole thing. So whatever Cash was doing, or whatever you guys were doing as far as back and forths, I no longer care, because it's gotten to the point where it's clear as day there's never going to be any sort of reconciliation. So if I can just check myself out, you guys do you, that's what it is. But that's just where I stood on the whole scenario. I felt like this said person he came off, let's put it this way, he came off to me in that call very, very, very selfish. That's what it came off to me.
Okay. So I kind of get it, but okay. So that's over with. Because I really can't think of anything else to really argue about. How long do you last in bed?
Wow. That's a good segue. Inconclusive.
Inconclusive. Can you at least give me an estimate how long you last in bed?
It ranges. Sometimes it could be 30 seconds to 30 hours.
Impressive, impressive. I, for one, 2 pumps, I'm done. Uh, now, all right. So, I can't think of anything else. So I guess this is where we end the show.
Well, we've been
Can't think.
going on for quite a while, so.
We have been going on for an hour and 30 minutes, 35 minutes technically, soon be 36. But with that being said, boys and girls, sadly we must end the our little thing right now. Steve, thank you for being on the show. I look forward to talking to the next guy, whoever that is. Hopefully it's Sunny. I'm still trying to work on that.
That'd be.
Oh, I'm trying my best right now. But yeah, so
Yeah.
boys and girls, have a good night, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.